Hey everybody, Keisha here, and today I am here with my friend
Jennifer Guskin,
and we need your help. We are right now working on advocacy for combating human trafficking, and here's why. So we'll give you a little bit of background of our story and why we're doing what we're doing.
I was adopted as an infant by a couple who sold me throughout my childhood. I have been to Epstein Island and on multiple Lolita Express types of flights as a child. After I went public, Child Protective Services opened a substance-exposed newborn case, even though all tests came back negative, and they told me that if I wouldn't stop posting on social media, I would never see my daughter again. I started to connect how I was adopted as an infant and then sold throughout my childhood, how many other children who have been through the adoption, foster, and CPS pipelines have also been trafficked to Epstein's Elk.
And as many of you guys know already, based on the work that we do at the CARES Project, I'm an American Indian born in Canada under the Jay Treaty. My father and I were exposed in the improper contagion mitigations for the COVID pandemic in early 2020. As a result of this, I lost everything: a house, cars, corporate assets, jobs. Bank accounts were shut down in Canada, and I fled to the US as an American Indian, fully documented, and was trafficked by rogue agents in ICE and other agents in the government, and forced to live with single American men. I was even imprisoned for 7 months initially, and then trafficked throughout the states. Put on full surveillance tracking and wasn't allowed to leave the city, house, or state without permission, or work without permission. And that happened for many years, and I was on and off the streets because of that, and in and out of shelters. And that is just a small example of what many go through in this trafficking system, be it the family courts or otherwise. So that's why the CARES Project will be going to DC to speak with representatives and do live reporting. We're also going to be in contact with other families who are dealing with human trafficking, and through the CPS courts or through any other means, lesser versions of trafficking, and doing reporting on them live and otherwise. We will also be working on, we ultimately want to shine light on what's going on with the trafficking here in the US. And we also want to meet with various agencies in DC, and we'll be going back and forth for training sessions and other things so that we can be better equipped to help people deal with resolving some of the issues that we're seeing. We will also be putting forth petitions in government to help people get justice, and that's something that we have been working on already so far. We have some petitions that have recently been filed in the state of Colorado, Michigan, Texas, and Arizona, and we will be continuing.
But we can't do this on our own. We will be traveling to events and training courses, as well as DC on a consistent basis. We also have to get acceptable equipment, such as computers, cameras, interview gear, etc. There will be other miscellaneous costs that would also be like gas, food, and rooms if necessary.
So that is why we are working towards combating human trafficking, and that is exactly why we need your help. We cannot do this alone, and most what the CARES Project does is on its own dime. And so we do love and appreciate each and every one of you that support us and all the work that we do. As many of you know, we also live stream on Lindell TV every day. And everything we do, like I said, is on our own dime. So we appreciate all the love and support and all the people who do donate, and we would very much love and appreciate that still. Thank you everybody for your time and considerations, and thank you for all the support, and we will catch you guys in the next one, and hopefully we might see you guys in the future and come across you and maybe be able to do some great things together.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CARES Project podcast. Today we have with us Sherry. He's returning to discuss with us the madness that just went on here in Canada that we try to call the Canadian election. So, I mean, where to even begin? But, I mean, Carney's, the guy's got the charisma of a rock, and I don't believe that he won 171 seats in that manner. This is just, I mean, yes, there's stupid people, period, for believing the Kool Aid, but I don't think that that many people did. And like, even the fact they put 91 people on the ballot in Polyvase riding, oh, come on. Like,
I know. And you know what? If you look back how the whole Carney actually started, I mean, it was right when Justin Trudeau was stepping down, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's Mark Carney. And now all of a sudden he's running for a prime minister. Not voted in, not elected in, nothing, but yet he was the acting prime minister. And then here we are. Now they're going to try and convince people that, oh yes, he's got 171 seats and he won this fair and square. And I don't believe it for a second. It's all theater in my eyes. I see it as they needed him in there to continue on with their plan. And most people who have been doing a lot of research are very much aware that he has been the handler, per se, of Justin's right from the start. So, I mean, here we are now with a Liberal government and all the crazy stuff that he's about to do and say and follow through with that. You will own nothing and be happy
well, people seem to forget that Carney was the one who instructed Trudeau and them to freeze the bank accounts of the
the
people
whole time.
during the trucker convoy. Like, this guy ran the Bank of England, and he can't show his face over there. They can't stand him. They call
No,
him
he's
Mark
been
Carnage.
Yeah, and that's what's mind blowing to me because, I mean, if people would just okay, like before you vote anybody in, especially after everything that's happened in our country, and our economy is like over the top crazy right now. Everything's so expensive. Our people are losing jobs. We have more homeless people than we've ever had ever in Canadian history, and here we are with everybody going, oh, well, Justin Carney is talking about money, so we like him. Because really, what is he saying that is any good? Well, he's
He's
he's saying nothing that is going to benefit Canada. He wants to still block the oil and gas industry, which is what runs the country. You
Canada's
know,
pretty much a petro state because we haven't developed anything. We've shut down our manufacturing, and now he wants to cut off the most important thing to the Canadian economy. And he's like, and people are praising him because he's like elbows up. Oh, Trump bad, Orange man
oh
bad, and people are like, oh, we got a new leader, so we're gonna have change. People don't understand politics. Like people,
no,
like saw somebody next thing telling an American guy, Dinesh D'Souza, like, "Oh, you need to stay with Canadian politics. You don't understand how the political landscape here is." I said, most Canadians don't understand the political landscape because if they did, nobody would be in Ottawa that is there now. There would be people going nuts because
yeah,
one man does not change the political posture of the party. He represents what that party represents. And there are people around him that are driving policy. He's just coming to the forefront to do
mm,
this. So it doesn't matter who you put in that seat, that party is only going to elect somebody or allow somebody to get in the driver's seat is approved for their policies. And what Trudeau is doing the last 10 years is exactly what the Liberal policy is, and he was the one who was helping to drive it.
well, Trudeau is proof that you don't have to have a brain to do politics.
I know
I'm sorry.
him and Biden are two peas in the pod.
That whole facade was just like right from day one. And I mean, he got, in my opinion, Trudeau got voted in because he was legalizing pot, so everybody could smoke their pot and marijuana, whatever you want to call it. And then here we are today, and so that they went. He went after the young generation that are all, yay, we get to get high legally. Yay, let's do this. So next thing you know, our whole entire country is high and completely delusional. And now here we are today going through the same thing. Carney did the same thing as what Trudeau did. He just promised the world a whole lot of empty promises, and now here we are, and we're going to suffer. And not only that, but like if you if you look at the prime ministers or the premiers in all the provinces, they're just all scrambling like right now because they don't even know what to do. They're just lost. Like, and that, I think that's the plan, is to get everybody just so distracted that they can just keep pushing all their garbage through.
I told people this, and a lot of this has to do with the way that we've been educated.
Yeah.
Especially the men. They had to go in and break these guys down because men, I'm sorry, most of them are not acting like men anymore. They're not.
No.
And if they were, we wouldn't be in this mess. But they're taught to look at what people say and how you feel about something rather than about how you think. Men are definitely not wired. Women have to be more emotional because they're tending to babies. We don't do that stuff. We don't carry babies. We don't need to have that emotional connection. We just don't. We need to protect and make sure that they're being able to be safe. And so men are now running around with hurt feelings and paying attention to words rather than actions. How much do words matter when you're trying to go ahead and keep your family safe from wild animals that are coming to rip you to shreds? You can't talk them, reason them down. You have to see them and kill them, right? Like,
yeah, and that's exactly it. And the thing is when, you know, and I like I said, you know, Dale, I knew nothing about politics, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, absolutely nothing. I actually refused it. I never allowed it in my life at all. But then with all the COVID stuff and everything like that happened, and everything was just so plain as day what was going on, that you'd have to be a very brainwashed person to not see what was going on. And unfortunately, we do have a lot of people in this country, around the world really, that are that brainwashed that they don't even see. And, you know, with all the stuff going on here, I was speaking with some family members, and they were like, "Oh, what do you think about the election? Are you going to vote?" And I'm like, I said, I can go vote, but I'm going to tell you right now what the outcome's going to be already. Like I don't need to even vote, and I can tell you who's going to win.
Well,
I said, even if I was to go vote, I said that person's still going to win because it's a rigged election.
Oh yes, like James, what's his name? Jim Ferguson. He had a guy that was working for Elections Canada that came out and said he was at the Durham region, and they brought all the ballots in. Nope, they were still sealed and everything else like that. And he checked his phone, and CTV called that the Liberals won the Durham region, and not a single vote has been counted because they were all in the room with all the votes that were sealed, and they were calling it for Durham. And then they had a video online of two women that had taken a cab, and then they were getting out of another car that wasn't the cab and had the bag of ballots just sitting on the street. And the guy's like, "What are you doing here? How really?" I mean, people are like, "Oh, they don't use machines. Who cares?"
Yeah, and that's exactly why Danielle Smith put it forward yesterday that that's going to be no more. There will not be counting machines. Things will be done within a certain time frame and things like that to make sure. But you know what? Hopefully we can revote in 18 months. I don't think it's going to even make a difference. You know, like I think that the people in Canada have been so misinformed about the truth of what's really going on. And then the ones who, like us, who are very much aware, what are we going to do?
Yeah, this tells you.
What can we do now?
This tells you the importance of education, because in education they had to teach certain things for people to believe certain things, and to get us to, they taught us so much things that made no sense so that we would believe lies because they would make us feel good, because
That's
you
right.
got punished when you were telling the truth and you didn't accept the lie that they were pushing down your throat in school. First of all, they
That's right.
came in, they got you to conform and everything else like that. So now they, and then the media came and reinforced it and everything else like that. So when you hear the lie, it makes you feel good. You associated all your life with good feelings. But
Yeah.
then the truth, you've been punished, so you want to run from the truth. And this is what we're seeing. Like, I mean, this is beyond reason. We need to kick the government out of the educational system. Just gone. You're done. Like, sorry, you don't belong there.
Yeah, and it's not even just the education. Like it's people need to like what they need to get out of their own head and start researching. I mean, yes, they blocked in Canada here. They blocked so much stuff of ours that our normal history. You have to actually dig for it. Even law, you have to go like really dig for the proper stuff, the proper information, the true laws and things like that. And like in the schools, they're so manipulated now, like even worse than when we were young. I mean, they taught us the basics. They taught us about the basic social studies and, and sciences and things like that, just enough to give you the curiosity to maybe try your own experiments or have half a brain. But nowadays they're manipulating the people in schools and the colleges. Colleges, I think, are worse, and universities are worse because when you go into the colleges and universities, you're literally on a. If you don't do it this way, then you don't fit in. It's worse than when you're going through grade school,
Yes, this is,
right?
there's a reason why more women are going into university than men. And it has nothing to do with them being better. It's the way that they structure them. It's easier for them to manipulate women in the school system than it is with men, the way that this is set up,
Yeah,
because they want it this way, because of the way that the people who set this system up, they understand the differences between men and women more than the average person,
yeah,
because it, it's so gross, because they go after men one way, they go after women the other way. And they know that especially women want someone to take care of them and be above them in social status. So then when you push all these women up this here in the social status, what is going to happen? They're going to start trampling the men. It's going to make the situation worse, because they want, like, only a limited amount of men that are, like, above them, because the men aren't, they're checking out of school, because men look at the school and they're like, I'm not going to get a return on investment on this unless it's absolutely necessary. But then they
yeah,
start handing out all of this, like, part of this, like, this whole climate change nonsense that Carney's behind. They start manufacturing jobs and giving high paying people for degrees that have no, that it's probably not even worth it to use it to wipe your hind parts, right?
exactly.
Because gender studies, really? Why do I need gender studies? Right? Like, I mean, why not go out and deal with people and understand them?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Why do you need gender studies? Like, holy man, that's pretty plain. Like that's the hard one to not laugh at, honestly, because because they want to teach,
I,
they
I,
want to teach they want to teach me about being a woman. Are you kidding me? They're going to teach
I'm
me how to.
like, you don't have parents, you don't have family members, you don't have friends. Like, I mean, you're gonna go and read a textbook rather than talking to people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, oh Lord, like it.
And that's what they do, right? They're trying really hard to get the interconnection away from people. They don't want you talking to each other. They don't want you socializing. They don't want you interacting. They don't want you bonding. They don't want you anywhere around each other. Hence why the big lockdown that we have. And like
Yes.
I'm very curious. I'm going to be honest. I'm very curious to see how long it takes till Carney puts us in another lockdown.
Well, this is the whole point. Like, this is the thing. Like, I was even talking this, watching these people that are hardcore racist. These guys, they have some of the most delusion that I've ever seen in my life, because they're blaming the immigrants, and I'm like sitting down and saying nobody should ever accept crime. Don't get me wrong, nobody, because nobody should be like, oh, please come rob me. No, it's nonsense. But how did those immigrants get here? And they're like, people are like, oh, the Jews. I'm like, okay, who's in the government? Are they all Jews or are they Canadians? Right? Like, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's like me going and sorry, just was like me saying, okay, here's $1,000. Now go kill your children. Right? Like, right?
But honestly, even what you just said, what happened? Here's $1,000. Go kill your children, because people are that ridiculously brainwashed right now.
Yes, but that's because
I know. I'm with you 100%. And the thing is like psychologically, you always need to blame somebody, right? And they blame the Jews, and they blame the immigrants, and they blame you or me or the neighbor or whoever, but they don't blame the actual person who is actually doing the damage. Ever.
because
They don't ever say our government is destroying our country.
Because if they did that, then they would have to take responsibility for putting them there.
That's
and
right.
Where does that blame lie? Oh, it falls on my lap because
that's right.
I put that person there. Yes, but they want
have to accept it, and they don't like they did. When you have to accept something, that means you have to actually take accountability. I know.
But
like
what?
The whole world is like crazy. When you mentioned this is what you wanted to talk about today, I was just like, oh my Lord, this is going to be a good one, because it goes in so many different levels and so many different directions.
Well, I was telling people, I'm like, you watch the division coming there, because okay, not all the immigrants that came here are agreeing with these open border policies, and there's a lot of immigrants that came here that agree with the lifestyle here and have accepted that, right? And they would be there to help stand together. But then these people are like, no, let's get rid of all immigrants. Well, then you just alienate people. Then people that were born here that was a different culture than you, well, they could be here for a bunch of generations and still believe they want to save the country. But no, I don't like you either because you're not like me, so you guys can get out too. So then you further fractured that. Now that's just on race. Now you look at religion. Okay, well, I'm this type of Christian, you're that type of Christian. Well, I don't like you too bad. So like you need to get out and get lost. So then you've just created another division. Now then you have, well, you're rich, I'm poor, I hate you, right? So then that's another division, right? Like, so you look at all of these things that have been inbred into people, and then you wonder why we're having the problems that we're having. I'm like, you can't figure that out. You're worried about how you feel about something than the guy that's just like stirring the pot and coming to kill all of us. Like, I mean, that's
and the bottom line is, and if people don't see it now, they're going to see it soon. But it's all their plan. It's all a part of their plan. This whole division is part of the government's plan, because if they keep the people divided, the people can't come together and stop the government from doing what they're doing.
That's the oldest trick in the playbook. Like, you divide and conquer has been there since the dawn of mankind, and there was enough people to divide, right?
Exactly. So what do you think Carney's next step's going to be? What do you think his first major step is going to be?
Destroy us economically.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Well, I mean,
like I said, that he's already messing with the banks. I was trying to do some banking this morning, and I can't even get into either of them. So
that's his specialty, right? I mean,
Yeah.
destruction of economies. Like, I mean, he ran the Bank of England and he Britain into the ground. Like, I mean, and then they brought him. The guy identifies himself as a European, right? Like, no, go. It's like people like, okay. There was this black lady that was American, and she's like, oh, I want to leave the United States and I'm going to escape the racism. So she moved to Africa. I was like, okay, now you got a rude awakening because you might be black, but you're not African, and you're going to find out real quick that things are different. It's like all these people that are singing the praises of Europe. I'm like, go ahead, go to that socialist country that's way worse than here with
Yeah.
more weak people and see how far you get, because the culture is very different. My two of my sisters were married to European men, and their culture is very different than it is here, and they
Yeah.
tell you that, right? And the one guy, he's I mean, my sister went over there and she was like, went to the store there, and it's not like here. Like, you get one brand of something, and that's it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it,
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? Maybe that's, I mean, I don't know. I do think that, overall, Canadians are a bit spoiled in that aspect because we have so many choices. However, I mean, we're the ones building this country. We're the ones who work our butts off and, give them government all of our money. They take more than 50% of our money, so I think that, I don't know. I think we might see a bit of a not really an uprise, but I think we're going to see a little bit of pushback in some sense, where the people that have had enough and are going to try and prove his non legit election.
oh yeah, I mean, we're getting pimped is the only thing that we can say.
Oh my God, that is like the perfect term.
Yes, because
The perfect term.
I remember when I was working in the oil field and I would just get my paychecks and I wanted to strangle a politician because I was like, why am I out here slaving myself, swinging a hammer, working like 16 hours a day so that you can roll in and bend me over and take it and not even give me a kiss or any Vaseline, right?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, like right now, like let's say $8,500 check, you're lucky to take home 5,000.
It it got to the point where sometimes when you work and you're making like lots of money per hour, and then you get your paycheck once you get to a certain point, and you're lucky if you got $10 in your pocket from that overtime. Because after a while, it just doesn't make sense anymore because
No.
the dollar figure that you put in your pocket per hour is less than 50%, way less.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, I've been, if you go on the government website, I'll even put it on here and I don't care. Because if you go on the government website and you want to start questioning your own taxes that are being withdrawn off your paycheck, go and look up a T1213 form. You can print it off, take it to your employer, and have them fill it out and let them know that you're doing an investigation on your own personal taxes. And that means your employer can no longer take taxes off your check until the investigation is done. So I know quite a few people who do that, because they are trying to investigate and see what's going on. But because, yeah, what's happening, I mean, what has happened in the last 10 years is only going to get 10 times better, or 10 times worse, I should say.
Of course it is. And what they've done, people don't understand what's going on. They're like, oh no. I'm like, listen, man, when you looked at everything that the government has done to all of these people, they're going to do it to everyone. And because you ignored it, it's going to blow up in your face. Because I'm watching people going, oh, well, I didn't think this was happening. Really? Well, you just watched this happen to 5,000 people over the course of time. And what, you didn't think it was going to happen to you? You didn't think
Yeah.
a thief was going to be like, okay, they're broke. I'm going to come and rob you?
Yeah.
I
And I mean, it's all theater too, right? I mean, they're going to do the same thing what they did in the United States. They're going to have Biden, and like now we have Justin Trudeau. Now we have Mark Carney, and they're going to do the whole thing, and then they're just going to keep plumbing our country, and then we're going to have somebody come and be the savior, just like just like Donald Trump. He's going to come and be the savior. But do we really have to wait another 4 years for that?
no,
That's the question.
we don't. We'll
No.
get into that after we take the short commercial break.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to announce the next generation of energy drinks, Rev 7. It has no sugar and no caffeine. Instead, Rev 7 uses Go BHB. Go BHB is one of the body's primary ketones, and it provides the most efficient and clean fuel that your body needs. It also helps you stay energized all day with no crashes. Not only that, it produces 3 times more brain energy than sugar, which helps boost your memory, focus, and mental sharpness. It also helps reduce stress and helps balance your mood. Rev 7 does all that while being the best tasting energy drink ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% today. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7. For a limited time, you get our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. I drink Rev 7 every day and I absolutely love it, and so will you.
So anybody needs the MyPillow products, you can go to mypillow.com/cares or call 800-845-2942. Use the promo code cares. You can try out the energy drinks. They got beds, they got bed sheets, bath stuff, kitchen stuff, slippers, all that good stuff. Go check it out. Support a good cause. There's also stuff in the ticker that you see that you can support with the donor box, the Give Send Go, or if you go watching on BitChute, Rumble, or on Facebook, they have links in the description for different products that you could go ahead and support a good cause. Whatever way works for you. If you want to support, go ahead. Thank you. And so, yes, going back to this, we don't have to wait for, like in the United States, 4 years for another election. And what needs to be done? Because I'll tell you right now, everybody that was in the spotlight that had a platform that could have done what needed to be done to help alter the course of the election, they didn't do it. They did.
Exactly. I see. I watched that too. When I watched so many people who they were strong advocates and really pushing to help and talk to the people and inform the people. And literally, I watched them the last month back right down, and you didn't see them at all. It was like, that was very odd because why aren't these people trying to help? Right? Like
Because
it's literally like we're watching it, like we're in the middle of a South Park show or something.
this is either they're complicit, the controlled opposition, or they are being coerced and they are afraid. Either way, it doesn't matter because the outcome is still the same. And
Here we are.
we're at a point that they need to have people that are not afraid to deal with it. Those are the people that need to have the platform, not the ones that are going ahead and they're making you feel good and promising you all this kind of stuff, but they're not actually delivering the key things at the key points in time. Because people don't realize, like, when people are like, oh, well, we didn't have any election interference, I'm like, we have election interference all the time. And the biggest people who are part of that election interference is the media, because they lie so that they don't get out the correct information so that people can make a better choice. Because should all the dirt that's being circulating not being suppressed, our whole makeup would look very different. Otherwise, there'd be riots in the streets. Because should they know that the government is financing terrorism in their own soil, they're trafficking children and allowing people to protecting rapists and pedophiles to profit off of it, they would think very differently. But they don't want to believe that because they've been taught
And
that
that's
way.
and going back to when you said that about we're being pimped out 100%. And when you said that, it was like, well, they're pros at pimp people out, because look what they do to all the people they're kidnapping, and all the sex trafficking going on. And so they're professionals, but yet so they're going to continue to manipulate the people until the people are so brainwashed that they can't even, they're either so brainwashed or so scared that they won't be able to do what needs to be done to stop them.
Put it this way: Pornhub, Canadian,
Yep.
right, in Montreal, but then the trust that owns it is in Ottawa. It's very different in that way because Quebec has very separate laws, and then it's operating in Canada, so it makes it a jurisdictional nightmare. Quebec
Right.
also has its own tax code and everything else like this. Then you
Right.
have Canadian corporations have more capacity out of any corporation in the Western world, and they also have the most protection. And so when you want, the way that it was structured was to structure something like exactly what they were doing. At one point, they controlled a little over 90% of all the pornography in the world, and they were pushing pedophilia. They were
Right.
incentivizing it for people to traffic and rape kids and women, all kinds of people, and profit from it and be protected. And this is what's here in Canada. This was what was incentivized under the Trudeau Liberal government, and this is what is going to continue under Carney. And there,
That's right.
that's just the government for you.
That's right. And yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, if people don't see what they're doing, um, they're pros. They know exactly what they're doing. They if they're not getting you to listen a certain way, they're gonna deviate over here, and they're gonna get you over here. And if they can't get you, they'll just keep deviating until they can absolutely have your mind and your whole everything following it, or complying and obeying everything they want.
This
It's
is
it's even like, some of the families that I'm dealing with right now, they're actually running scared because the Liberal government is back in, because now they know they've spent 9 years of complete hell trying to fight for their children and get them back and everything like that. They're finally on the upscale of getting them back, probably within the next month. And now they believe that the next court case, when they were supposed to get their children back, that they probably won't get them back. So now they're ready to run. And I think we're going to see that a lot with some of the families and some of the people in the world. You already hear it already, like how many people are wanting to leave Canada because they can't do this again.
Well, that's the whole point because they, but the people that, a lot of the people that are going to leave and a lot of people that are wanting to run and all these kinds of things is because they failed to do what needed to be done. And when I sat down and I listened to all the men, they're like, oh, well, I need to worry about my paycheck and my bills. I'm like, really? What's going to happen to it now that Carney's here?
Yeah. How's your paycheck? How's your bills? How's your bank account? Like, that's the question. Like, I have zero faith in the banks at all anymore. I don't believe that at any given time you can just, well, as well as I do, that you can't just go walk to the bank and take out $100,000 if it's in your bank account. You can't at
No.
all. You have to make an appointment. They have to set up the reason. They have to set up the funds to be transferred into the bank so that you can actually get it. They need to know why you're spending it, where you're spending it, and who the money's going to before you even get your money.
And they don't need that. They just try to put all
They,
those policies in place so that they make money by you keeping your money there, and then they lend it to other people using it at way less rates, and they get way more money than the interest that they're paying you. Because if you
that's
loaned
right,
out your
because
money at that interest, interest they're receiving, you would be much further ahead.
absolutely. Yeah, because every loan that a person gets, and every dollar that's put into or every bank account that's open, or every credit card that's open, they get to trade those accounts on the markets. Your accounts on the markets, and they
Yes,
make money on
and they can leverage your money as assets to get what they want, to get more money, to go ahead and start giving it out to other people. Like, this is just a big shell game. This whole fiat currency is nonsense. It's literally monopoly money. It's only got value because somebody says, okay, that's what it is. Other than that, it's got nothing to back it or any of that. And this is why they just keep printing it more. And like economics, like most manipulated mathematics I've ever seen in my life, like 100%.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
they like act like it just operates all by itself. It's like, if you think that, then I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn because you're an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you could give anybody today a message of moving forward, what Canadians need to do, and how they can, number one, deal with the now new prime minister for the next 4 years, or action steps of what you think they might need to do.
I mean, there's an action plan that people can go out and figure it out and deal with it. It's been there for years because the elected officials are by far the weakest link in this equation, the ones that we have the most access to in any country. It's written that into their constitution because you have to elect them, because we don't have a constitution that said we are electing a monarch that has absolute authority. It doesn't say that, right?
No.
They try to sit down and play all these kinds of games and hide behind this shell game, but at the end of the day, they answer to the people. We don't got a king. The king's figurehead, right? Go
That's
look at the laws. He's a figurehead, doesn't
yeah.
do anything. So what do you got to do? Those guys that people are giving a pass to, they need to feel the heat. And you don't have to be violent. You just give them a lot of pressure because
Yeah.
they need to understand that there are consequences to not listening to us. Because how Justin Trudeau couldn't show his face, every single one of them needs to get that kind of treatment. Every single
Absolutely.
politician, right?
I
They're gonna
agree.
they're gonna think twice about going out when all they do, because these people love their reputations and their image, and they need to now have their reputations exposed and to support the people that are willing to tell the truth regardless of what it is. I don't care whether I like it or not. If it's the truth, go ahead, speak it. I'd rather be hurt by the truth than comforted by a lie, because being comforted by a
Absolutely.
lie is what got us here,
That's
right?
right. 100%. And it, like, just to touch on, everybody's attacking Trump and everything like that because of all the hard words, and he's like really doing a good crackdown as far as I can see, and trying to save America, make America great again, make America great again. There we go.
Uh, uh,
you know, and that's what people, they're so wrapped up in their own feelings that they don't see how destructive the world has been up until this point. They're not seeing it at all. So when they see somebody like Trump going in and saying, "Nope, we're not doing that no more. Nope, we're not doing that no more. Oh, there's a billions of dollars over here. Nope, you're not getting that anymore." I think it's really sad that people don't even see that what he's doing is good. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they're all on the same cookie cutter party as they um, all of them together anyway. But I think moving forward, I think it's going to be, if the people don't start coming together, stop the division, stop thinking that one person or one group or whatever is better than the other. Um, if they want real action, I think everybody, no matter the group, no matter the gender, no matter the immigrants, whatever, I think the best thing that people can do is come together and start pushing back against the government. And I don't mean pushing back, take over. I just mean pushing back to show the government that the people of Canada aren't allowing this chaos anymore.
well, there there has to be consequences, and people have to understand this. That the government is being given a free pass, and everybody who's afraid of the government and everything else like that. I'm like, if you are afraid of your government, then you're a slave. That
That's
is the
right.
bottom line, because the government should fear going against the people, because When they go against the people that put them there, that means the government is in the wrong. The government is committing crimes, but we're allowing them to do these things. Is it going to be difficult? Yes, it is, because we failed to do a lot of work over a long period of time that allowed them to feel that this sense of entitlement that they have no business having. We have to take away that sense of entitlement by fighting them at every turn. And I'm not talking physical fight, but every time they want to come with some kind of nonsense, we need to stop them, cut them off at the pass, and give them a lot of resistance that we're not going along with what you said, because this is not what our laws say. This is not what we voted for, nor am I going to accept being bent over and taken advantage of. Right?
No, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, of course, we all hope that our new government's going to do the right thing and be there for the people and things like that. But I mean, like we said right at the beginning of this call, like it's all facade, it's all theater, and it was all planned way before he was even voted, because he was the running prime minister before he was even elected. Nobody asked him to be. Nobody, nobody said, "Oh yeah, we want Carney to do the acting prime minister." No, he just come out of nowhere, literally, and showed up in the government's office and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm now the running prime minister because Justin Trudeau is stepping down, and you guys are just going to deal with it. And you know what? Moving forward, I'm going to make it look like I'm running for the prime minister position." And we're going to manipulate this election just so that you guys all think that I'm the real prime minister, because you guys will believe us because you're that brainwashed.
But even if that was the case, even if people don't understand that government officials can only go as far as the people will let them.
That's
And
right.
this is what people need to understand. People are the ones who wear the pants in the relationship, but they pull their pants down and let the government come in and violate them. And that's what people have to understand. The only reason why we're getting violated is because we all sit down and feel like we can't do anything, when that nothing can be further from the truth. We just
That's
don't
right.
want to deal with the hard circumstances, and this school system that is, like, I mean, ripped us down to nothing, and it makes us, like, takes away all the challenges that would help us develop and grow through life. We now don't have the tools, but you still got to find it inside of you to go and do that, because otherwise they're going to mop the floor with you. Right?
That's so true. Yep, so true. Yep. So moving forward, there's some people, you hear rumor of possible power outages and food shortages, and I mean, we've been this has been a conversation for months now, that these things might be coming with the new Liberal government. And what is your thought on that one?
Well, I mean, the more chaos they have, the more it's going to benefit them. Look, their philosophy is order out of chaos. That's not the way things work, because you're using fear to override people's reason and judgment. Because people who are under fear and duress, they make bad decisions and poor choices. And so most people, when they're sitting there and they're trapped by their fear, they're going to make they're going to act like a drug addict. That's really all it is. They're going to just do whatever to make that thing they're afraid of to stop, or to make themselves feel better. But when they do that, they're going to exasperate their problems. So all of these things, I just see it happening, because I've been dealing with this kind of stuff to begin with, and they're just going to go ahead and they're going to start doing it across the board. And they're like, "Oh, I didn't see it coming." Yes, you did. You just chose to ignore it.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. All these things are right plain in sight in our eyes. Like they're not even they're not even a shadow anymore. They're like plain in our eyesight and plain in our vision and plain in everywhere all around us. So if people can't see what's truly going on, they don't want to see it.
Well,
They don't want
yes,
to.
they ignore it because it happens to certain people. They're like, "Oh no, that's just nonsense." No, it isn't nonsense, because this is how they groom you. They just do it a little bit, a little bit, a little bit at a time, and then it comes, and then you're just like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming. Yeah, you did. You
Yeah.
just accepted it. This is why trafficking is rampant, because if you look and examine things, they have normalized exploitation in our society. People think it's normal. I watch people doing this all the time, and they just
Yeah.
naturally will exploit people. So they think it's, unless it's something really egregious where they're seeing somebody being dragged and beaten and thrown in the back of the car, they don't think that that's trafficking. I'm like, you're an idiot, right? Like,
I know. I cannot believe that they don't think that that would be trafficking. I know, like, but you deal with that all the time. Like, even here, the situation happened similar to what you're just explaining, and like, well, no, they just tried kidnapping me. There, that's not trafficking. I'm like,
oh,
right. So of course, after you explain to them, then they're like, oh, well, I didn't realize that that was what it was, and I'm like, well, that's what they're trying to do. So, I mean, that's something that I really like daily. I'm actually in the process of making little brochures, and I'm going to bring them and drop them off on every freaking all 70,000 residents in this town because people people need to be aware.
yes, and people need to understand that a lot of the times there is no most trafficking occurs with no physical force. It doesn't, because that, especially if you're a man, that is the easiest way for you to go to prison,
Yeah,
right? So they do it in just coercing and like trapping people into bad situations. This is one reason why drugs are rampant now, because the easiest way to make somebody dependent is to get them hooked on drugs. Once you do that, it's over, right? You can traffic them like easy peasy, because you
yeah.
look at the drug trafficking, you see prostitution like through the roof, right?
And they feed off each other, and that's the thing. Like they just feed and feed and feed, and you can clean up a drug addict, and you can clean up a prostitute, and then you dangle the carrot in front of their nose again, and boom, there they are, right? I mean, 9 times out of 10, they're back doing whatever they're doing. So they're just so manipulated and so. Oh man, I wish I could dangle a carrot that fixes these people, and everybody just decided to fight back and clean it
The,
up because
well, you have to believe in what you're doing. That's the only way that you're going to be able to do it.
yeah, yeah, you do.
You can't
I do.
manipulate people into doing this.
No, no. And even, you know, so even that my mom's been in the hospital the last few days, and even just sitting back watching the manipulation going on in the hospital, and um I had for the most part her nurses were absolutely amazing, but I'm also very, very aware of what they've done and what they do and how they do it. And so the nurses and that were trying to manipulate my mom, I was able to catch it right away and clean it up and ban that nurse. But this nurse, I had a conversation with her after it was all said and done, and this nurse had no idea what I was talking about. No idea what her coworkers already knew about what I was telling her about what's going on, because she was just a new. I think she was in for like almost 3.5 years. But having the conversation, she honestly thought that when intubating was the only way to save anybody when they get to that state, and she didn't realize, she couldn't put the pieces together for herself that intubating an 83-year-old woman would probably kill her.
Because that's what they've been told over
That's right.
and over and over again. And the way
That's
that
right.
they critical thinking, people have been indoctrinated so badly that if they critically think, it actually hurts them. And
Well, it turned out really good. Thankfully, we were able to, myself and another nurse, we actually went and sat in the cafeteria and had a conversation with this young nurse and explained the truth and what really happens and the manipulation that she had been um, put on her. And now it's great because I feel it's such a rewarding conversation, because now moving forward, she wants to meet up again, and she wants to learn more, and she, you know what I
Well,
mean?
that
So,
that that's good.
but then that's how it has to go. Like, that's what people need to do. They just need to stop being so scared of telling the truth. Stop being so scared of, oh no, if I just, like, if I was that person that, um, oh yeah, yeah, I believe you. And trust me, I have a family member that is that person. And I was fighting the nurses, and I was fighting family to make sure that that didn't happen to my mom. And you just can't believe that people believe so strongly that that is the only thing to do. And it's okay to go ahead and do this to an 83-year-old, because she's 83. She's going to die anyway.
That
And it's like, it's mind boggling.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really going to be a lot of work. We're running up on time here, so I'm going to close here with a prayer. But I mean, we need to go ahead and start doing the work that needs to be done. And if you're afraid, then support the people who aren't afraid. Otherwise, we are never going to get anywhere, and you'll just get more of this, which is what we don't want. So I'll close with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love, grace, and mercy. We thank you for the hope that you have given us this day, and open our hearts and minds to your will, and help the men and the women to come together to fix this country, to rebuild our families, our community, our churches, and our nation, that we can have some protection for our children, that they would be protected from the evil criminals, is my prayer. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you all for coming. Until next time.